I'm your host, Troy McClure. You may remember me from such films as The Erotic Adventures of Hercules and Dial M for Murderousness.
Hello, murder mystery lovers. How you doing? I'm Jade.
And I'm Paul. And today we've got a good one for you. 1954's Dial M for Murder. 1954's Dial M for, what a year. Dial M for Murder and Rear Window in one year. That's a lot.
It's a lot of Grace Kelly. And I could always use more, though, you know. Never enough Grace Kelly.
Let's get into it.
Hitchcock was, he was a problematic guy, but separating the art from the artist here, I love me some Hitchcock. I really do. I'm excited to talk about this one. So let's talk about it. So it was written by the guy who wrote the play that this was also based on, Frederick Knott. I know it's, I always like to pronounce.
I think the second T is silent.
Indeed. So yeah, and it stars some glorious, amazing. It's a great cast we got here. Ray Milland, Anthony Dawson, Grace Kelly, John Williams, and Robert Cummings. Love them all.
Yeah. John Williams and Anthony Dawson in the Broadway production. Mm-hmm. John Williams winning the Tony for supporting actor for this role. Both are just. Anthony Dawson is another one of those, like, he shows up in like a James Bond film. He's like, if Anthony Dawson's on your screen, he's the bad guy. He's one of those actors. Like, he's not playing the hero in anything. He is the bad guy in some ways.
So this was a little bit out of his type then, because he's definitely not the bad guy here. He's kind of like the sketchy guy.
Well,
the shifty guy.
He's a bad guy. I don't think there's anything good about Swan / Lesbian.
No, I'm not saying there's anything good about him, but he is not.
He's not the main bad guy. He's not the main bad guy.
He's almost like the scared, what am I trying to say? I feel that Ray Milland is much more the villain in this than.
Oh, absolutely.
And Andrew Dawson almost feels like the prey, the hunted, There's
this great scene at the very beginning that I never saw until now. But it's the breakfast scene or the dinner scene or the meal scene where they're sitting at the table, and he gives that little kiss to Grace Kelly and then goes and sits down, and he knocks over the salt and pepper shaker. Mm-hmm. And then he pinches it over his shoulder for good luck. This is the day that he's planning to kill his wife.
Yes.
This is a year in the making. And when he knocks that over, there's two things that tells me. One is that things are not all well in this relationship. There's tension happening. And second of all, he needs all the luck in the world for this scheme to pull off.
Right.
That's such a brilliant opening thing. And it reminds you that Hitchcock started in silent films, because he is showing you just these images after images of, here's a relationship. It's together, but it's not all together. Mm-hmm. And then the wife looks up, the wife looks down at the paper. We see the story, we see the ship, we see him coming off the ship. And then all of a sudden it's Grace Kelly and Robert Cummings, lucky Robert Cummings, getting to have a little smoochy scene. And then we start dialogue. Ray Milland, he's an Oscar winner. He won for The Lost Weekend, kind of an underrated actor. But man,
so underrated.
He plays that suave, slick.
He's so evil yet so charming.
Yeah.
I would love to discuss this scene, because another scene that I could go on and on about, another Hitchcock scene that has a lot of similarity to this, we did gush about in our Psycho podcast. The parlor scene between Janet Leigh and Tony Perkins.
I didn't even think about that.
I said this on the pod, probably my favorite scene ever on film. And it has so much in common. It's just two people sitting in a room, but then there's Hitchcock doing that thing he does with that camera. Ooh, buddy. It's
well
suspenseful.
done. I didn't think about that at all when I watched this scene. But
That
you're
kind of
absolutely right.
acting, that kind of
Yeah.
scene, it's very theatrical, and it is just my jam. The first part of the film, we are Swan trying to figure out what the hell Tony is up to.
Yeah.
And that blackmail scene, let's just talk about it. He drops like one trap after another, and scared little Swan is he's like the sitting duck, you know. I mean, pun intended, I'm sure, for his name.
Yeah.
He's like politely blackmailing him.
Right.
And like I said, character study, he's an expert narcissist. He's a master manipulator. He's just smooth, charming, disarming. He does things like he admits his own crimes to gain his trust.
Sure.
He's like, I'm just like you. You know, he is very clever, and he offers him free drinks, you know, the good stuff. I was going to give you an indifferent port, but let's see. Oh, how about this brandy, you know? And he's just so puts him at ease. All the while, though, we see Swan is he feels something's up.
Hitchcock has this way of making his villains sympathetic.
Yeah.
We talked about that in Psycho.
Yeah. There's a deep performance going on here with Ray Milland. It's excellent.
With that, just that, like, that great, like, English civility, kind of masking all of this stuff. That's what I love about those English dramas. I mean, I'm a big Harold Pinter fan, where it's just like, you know, anytime like somebody says something polite in a Pinter play, you just know that's not what they meant.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
What
is it? The weasel under the cocktail table or something like that? That's a Pinter line where it's like, that is like, it's the
I never
party.
Heard that.
Oh yeah, I think that's a Pinter description where it's like it's a cocktail party, but there's a weasel underneath the cocktail table, and that weasel could come out at any time. But in the meantime, we all have to be civil, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have to have our martinis, and we all have to be smiling and everything. But you know, in the meantime, the weasel is wanting to get out.
I love Anthony Dawson in this. I can't wait to see. I have got to do it. I've got to seek out more performances of his, because he is so great. The definition of just shifty. He's got this weakness to him. He's got this hunger, this desperation, this fragility about him that is just perfect. And he's just hilariously bewildered by Tony's like Rube Goldbergian death plot, you know? Just trying to keep up and figure out what's going on.
But he also gets it. And that's the thing that's really amazing about that performance, is that it starts as if he's like, well, this is ridiculous. And then as it's going, he's like, actually, this will probably work.
It's a great study of the human condition, the awkwardness of having to keep your cool when you are freaking out inside, because how creepy is this? What a hammer to drop. I have been following you for months. It's like, what? We got these low angled ankle or knee level shots to communicate. And then when Tony is laying out his murder death plot, it's all done overhead, almost like behind the scenes footage of a director working on a film with an actor. He's directing, okay, this is how it's going to go, then this is your mark, blocking it out, you know.
I'm so glad you brought up the Psycho parlor scene, because I didn't even think about that. But it's that same thing of like, I'm going to put you in the room.
Yep.
You are in this room. You're not watching from someplace else. And you know, you think you can be down on the floor? Nope. There's angles from there. You think you can be above things? No. You're still a part of things, even if you're above things. You think you can hide behind the lamp? No.
Yeah.
You are still a part of this.
There are two shots that are very outstanding in this scene that are the judicial use of close-ups. He does this one great close-up when Swan is emptying out his pipe, and he turns over his shoulder when Tony says, I saw you. Bam.
Yeah.
But then before that, there's this weird panning shot to Swan where we're on Tony, and he says, I thought of killing her. And then that seemed like a far more sensible idea. And just as I was working out how to do it, I saw something which completely changed my mind. Cut to this panning shot of to the right of Swan, I believe, on the couch. And then the camera slowly finds his face. Right. It's foreshadowing. It is. what did he find? Just as we in the camera just found Swan as the subject of this shot, Tony found Swan. It's just such brilliant storytelling. Masterful, truly.
Yeah.
Hitchcock was a property in himself because he's this weird ass guy that everyone just kind of trusted and wanted in their living room. And he really rolled with that, and he knew that was going to be his thing. It is very funny. I love the fact that the murder plot goes so awry right from the very beginning, most basic elements, when Tony what tips the whole thing off? Tony knows at this time I will make this phone call. Well, didn't get that one right. It's like, here we go. Right. It's all downhill from here.
Oh, you start to see it from the pre-funk that they're having with the drinks and everything, where he's like, I've got to figure out how to get the key out of the purse. I've got to figure out how to convince Margot to stay home and do scrapbooking. But for everything that goes wrong, it goes very right.
It's just absurd. The improbable use of these scissors, the gleaming, shining scissors, which are beautifully shot. So Margot stabs him in the back, which no, that's sorry. Not at all possible. The way that the angle that she's at, one good swift stab. No. And then, yes, he for some reason needs to go kind of up to the sky and then make a ballerina twirl and fall right on his back. And it is a very gross and somehow oddly satisfying moment to see those scissors crunch right in the...
I forgot that was the thing. I thought it was the stab and he fell down dead. And then as he was twirling around in the trying to figure out, and I was like, oh, right. That's going deep. Mm-hmm. Oh, you can't pull those out. What did you think about the Grace Kelly scene with the light changes? It's like the trial, or it's like the arraignment, the trial, the sentencing, like all in one scene. I mean, very theatrical.
Yeah.
Very black box theater moment there, where it's just like, we're just going to do this with lighting changes and a little bit of music, and just she's playing one emotion and then slightly a different emotion and a slightly a different emotion. What did you think of that scene? As an actress, what do you think of that scene?
I like it a whole lot. I appreciate that it was done so that we didn't have to leave the apartment. And again, with the one scene where we do leave the apartment, we don't get a huge sense of that space. It is very tightly close up at that dinner table, and then a medium shot of Ray Milland in that phone booth. So
right.
And then we see him again, very like a heightened, stylized cab scene. It's all very Vertigo, isn't it? And I really like it because it keeps us in the world. It keeps us in the room, in the back of our minds. We're still in that apartment. We haven't left yet. We're getting these little like thought bubble glimpses into other things that are going on, but we are never in that reality. The reality is always at that apartment. You know what a satisfying thing is? Back to John Williams, can we? May we?
Oh, please.
We veered off of him, and I don't know how that happened. But the big twist
we will come back, sure.
Let's bring it on back to John Williams, because the twist in this is that he turns out to be our hero. Mm-hmm. When does that happen? I'm surprised when he comes in, because at first he is this horrible, frustrating cop, and he's pretty awful. He's given Margot a real hard time, and I'm like, stop it, please stop it, leave her alone. Right. Step away from the blonde, gorgeous lady, please.
But I will say he is following the evidence that is being put in front of him at the time. But he's not.
And we have to read this in the time it was set in too. And this is very pre-Me Too. This is way pre-Me Too.
But but he's also keeping this thing open. I mean, obviously he has to arrest her because she killed him. He's not. Well, no, he doesn't arrest her just because she killed him. Well, yeah.
No. That's not the reason that she gets arrested. She gets arrested because of what Tony does to fuck it all up, to frame her, basically.
She's taken for questioning because she did kill the guy. Do you know what I mean? As that's happened, Hubbard files his report, and then it's kind of out of his hands. And the jury didn't like her because, according to Mark and Tony and their weird scene together, Mark Holliday showing up after the woman that you cheated with is convicted of murder, showing up at the husband's house going, hey, you need to take the rap because we need to save her. I mean, do pants have enough room for those sizes of balls? Because I don't know how you fit those balls into just like a regular pair of slacks. That they didn't believe her. They didn't trust her because she'd had this affair.
Right.
That she had been cheating on him. That has nothing to do with the detective. That has nothing to do with Hubbard. That's just, he's doing his job. But it's
no,
really
I'm
nice
not saying it is. I'm not saying it's all his fault or anything.
Right.
Because totally is. He rectifies the situation, and I love him by the end.
He knows somewhere along the line that something's not right.
His blood was up. And when he does that, if you can't watch me, just know that his blood was up. He's doing the Rosie the Riveter, like, we can do it kind of shucks arm. And it is so cute. I love John Williams.
And somehow it seems like, of course he would do that. It doesn't seem out of character. It doesn't seem theatrical at all. John Williams, my God, he just looks so natural doing that motion. Everything about him just seems like he is so, you can tell that he's played this like numerous times on Broadway.
Oh yeah.
Because he has lived in this role and he has that feeling to it.
This could be such a stuffy story, murder mystery story. And it surprises you at every turn. It's never what you think it's going to be. Another thing that I really wonder if it was scripted or not is when he turns to Tony and he says, "Are you coming with us?" And Tony goes, "Oh yes, of course." And he goes, "Yes, well, I just wondered." It's just so random and delightful. I'm like, how? Why? How? Thank you. I love you, but how?
Yeah.
So we've saved the, I don't know, the best for last. One of the best, Grace Kelly. We haven't really talked much about her. We talked about her here and there, but is there more that we can say about her? The thing that I wanted to point out is her delightfully odd British accent in this. It's just so cute. Her voice is great in this. What a range of sound she can do.
I just want to hear her say the words Tony. Tony. Sure.
She goes from aloof to worried to gay and light and oh haha, and we're gonna have a wonderful time. But even in that, she's still hiding stuff. She's never truthful. And then she's terrified. I mean, batshit, like just out of her mind with fear and horror. And then she's numb. And then she has this breakdown of emotion, and it's just with like 5 pages of dialogue to go on. She has so few lines. I mean, really, Grace Kelly does not get enough credit. She is the unsung hero of this film because she's the emotional, she's the heart.
Yeah.
She's the the warmth of it all, When she goes off to jail after the trial, she's gone for a significant amount of the movie, really until like the last 15 minutes, where she comes back in after they bring her back in where they're about to catch Tony. Right.
That's when she comes back in.
And all the while that she's gone, the film hangs on you, the audience, getting so emotionally invested in getting behind her to stand by. No, please do not kill this woman. It's all about that's the major question is will she die for this thing she didn't do? And you really have to, Hitchcock really had to believe in Grace Kelly enough to know that the audience would care so much about her. And we do. It's fun. Yeah. I have such a ball with this film. This Dial M for Murder is it goes beyond a comfort watch for me. It's when I'm feeling sick as a dog watch, because that's how invested I get, that I will leave my body and I will be glued to the screen. No bathroom breaks, no snack breaks, no need. Sure. I am in it. Once we hit go, we are off to the races and there's no stopping. It's just, I could watch this. I watch this film probably more than any other Hitchcock film, even though it's not my favorite Hitchcock. It's that comfy, cozy, my Agatha Christie heart just can't get enough.
folks, if you have not seen this movie, get your best whoever, get on the couch, get your libations, your snacks, get a nice comfy blanket, put this movie on, and have yourself a wonderful evening.
All right, my loves, that is going to wrap her all up for today. But if you would like to see the full video of this episode, you can do that on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/perfectlymarvelouspodcast. And you also get access to a bunch of our delicious bonus content. You get all the episodes that we put out ad-free. You get them early. You get full videos of every podcast. It's amazing. It's a rip-roaring good time. Check it out.
All right. So if you love us, hit the like button once and then hit the subscribe button.
Yes.
And then you subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get updates on when we put new videos out. And please also comment nicely. Leave a nice comment. This is the point where your mom would say, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Say something nice and then say it all in our comments. The more likes and comments we get on our channel, the easier it is for other people like you to find us, help us reach our goal, because we want to get to 1 billion subscribers. But if we can get 1,000 of you, then that's going to help us out immensely.
It's a good start.
So please do that. But, billion is where we're trying to get to.
Also, my Instagram is Jade the Naked Lady, all one word. And my TikTok is Jade8Green. That's the number 8. All the links for all the things are in the description. So check it out. Thank you so much for listening, my lovelies. We've enjoyed so much this time with you. Until next time, I'm Jade.
And I'm Paul.
And I have a piece of advice for you. In the middle of the night, when the phone rings and you pick it up and no one's there, don't repeatedly say, hello, hello, hello.